What did it take for your parents to finally see the truth about their favorite child? Nick had always been the golden child, but for me, art was everything. I lived for late nights with charcoal on my fingers and sketches sprawled across my desk, hoping one day I would get the same applause Nick got for his test scores. When he came home from my high school graduation, the whole house lit up like we were the picture-perfect family. But the best part was when people actually asked about my art, and I thought maybe things were changing. But that night, while passing the kitchen, I heard my parents talking about how college was so expensive now, and how they wished they could send both of us. But there was only enough for one. Mom whispered, "Nick is the safe bet. Jenna's art will always be a hobby." My dad agreed and said, "She'll understand." I stood there, heart pounding painfully, remembering last year when I showed them my acceptance letter to art school, only for them to tell me to listen to Nick talk about his science fair win and bug them later. At the family barbecue the next day, I tried not to flinch every time Nick joked about me painting for free drinks after graduation, but inside I was burning. After eating, Nick pulled me aside with this smug look and directly said my art was ugly and pointless, and that I should be glad the family picked the obvious winner. I was so stunned I barely heard him say he had borrowed my sketchbook to show his friends what not to do. The next morning, I caught him in the guest room, scanning pages from my private sketchbook and printing out application forms for a scholarship I had never even heard about. When I confronted him, he just waved me off, saying, "I'm just borrowing your drawings, not like you're using them for anything anyway." I couldn't believe it. I spent the rest of the day with my anger building up silently until I decided I wouldn't let him win this time. That evening at dinner, I told everyone I was inspired by Nick's sudden interest in art and asked him to present his work to the whole family. I handed him a brand new sketchbook and watched him try to fake his way through describing each one. About halfway through, the pages changed to explicit sketches of young girls posing in suggestive ways and other horrible sketches that got worse and worse, until finally Mom gasped and Dad snatched the book away in horror. Nick's face turned gray and he stammered that the drawings were not his, but I stood up and calmly announced that none of the sketches he had shown the family or used to win the scholarship were his either. I pulled out my actual portfolio and showed my signed pieces, asking my parents to compare the signatures and check the dates. My mom broke down crying and my dad just stared at Nick with his fists clenched. Nick completely lost control, flipping the dinner table over and lunging at me, screaming that I had always ruined everything for him and that he wished I had never been born. He tried to rip the portfolio out of my hands, but my dad shoved him back, yelling for him to stop while my mom frantically tried to save the torn drawings. For the first time, I saw fear and regret on both their faces as they realized what they had created. Nick stormed off, slamming the door to his old bedroom. All I heard for hours was the sound of things breaking. That night, my parents sat with me with pained expressions, both apologizing through tears and promising to help me chase my dream no matter what. The scholarship was awarded to me instead, and every form Nick had forged was shredded in front of me. I got my art school acceptance back along with the grant approvals, but I was still left with deep scars. At graduation, my brother didn't show up, but I felt better after seeing my parents holding my sketches up proudly while I received my diploma.